Hello, traders. Let's look at the reversal pattern of today. The choppiness ahead of rollover is certainly evident today, and the revisiting of the breaker three times, like we did yesterday, also evident. So the market opens and pushes up, opens with a little bit of a gap. Um, I did try for the gap fill, made a few points there. I did just half gap and then killed it, but it was a little choppy. But this was my target down here for the low side. I wanted to see this 4 hour low get taken out and then a reversal pattern show up, and that's what we got. But I decided, because we had all of this gap down here to fill, and this was only half the gap, that maybe since we were pushing down so aggressively, we might fill this gap. And I was actually in a short when we came back down here and touched the breaker again. This price action did not look right to me, but it was right. It fits all the criteria. Okay. So we took out a 4 hour regular trading hour low. We pushed up, leaving liquidity up above, and then we came back down to the breaker. This was what bothered me. Why didn't we go ahead and take that liquidity? We came back and we touched the breaker, did not take that low, made a higher low, came back again, touched it again, and then adios payal, we went. So it's not clean. That's what we're going to see during these rollover weeks before rollover. We're not going to see super clean like we do some days. But we did end up going up and up and up, and finally made a new high of the day right in the last hour, in the power hour, and then went and took that yesterday's high and pulled back a little bit. I did take a short here and got a few points off of it, but nothing. I was hoping to get all the way back to settlement, but we just didn't get there. So that's reversal pattern number one. And if you took this one, it was a good one, but it wasn't super clean. But let me get rid of the opening range high so we can see our reversal pattern here. Okay, so on this run up, this is the high. This is our bearish breaker right there. We made a new high there, and then we fair value gap down. If you were able to get in, you don't really have the opportunity to enter. This push up, I was thinking this volume imbalance is where we would go on a pullback, but we didn't quite get there. I did go ahead and enter on this candle, and I was aiming for settlement, but once it got here, I was like, okay, I'm not going to press my luck. I went ahead and took profit there. And of course, we started right back up. Now, if you wanted to take a long there, we ran liquidity for sure. Breaker here to the upside. Right there is our upside breaker. And we did push through it with a fair value gap. We didn't come all the way down to this entry, but this little push down was kind of nice. And I think I did go ahead and take a long there, just right at MOC for some reason. I think when we broke this is where I went ahead and took my long, because we had a fair value gap here. And on a 15-second chart, our breaker was right here, I believe. Let's just double check it. Yeah, so we pushed down. So yeah, our breaker would have been right there. Yeah, we're not doing it. We're not in the right spot. Our breaker was right down here on a 15-second chart, which you can use sometimes. And then our entry would have been here, and we start making new high of the day, and we aim all the way for that guy. That was MOC. It was real tough. I don't know if I would call it that. I think I would probably just stick with those two for low-hanging fruit, and that's what we're going to have to do. So our breaker here, we start pulling away. I just jumped in with a couple of micros and aimed for right there, and that's what I got. So Um, choppy price action. Very, it's something that you're going to expect. We should expect as we're nearing rollover and the Fed rate decision. So grabbing 10, 20 points is going to keep your blood pressure low in this environment. If you're like, if I was to hold, say I bought here, I filled. One thing I used to do is I would put a limit order at the breaker. And then we started only coming to the fair value gap and then going on up. Well, here in the last few days, it has been returning to that breaker multiple times. And when I first started using this system, I would just put my stop below the breaker, my order on the breaker, and then we stopped coming down to the breaker. We would just come to there, so I wouldn't get filled. So I started getting filled here instead, but that's pretty good distance to the bottom of the breaker. We got filled in that fair value gap there. We just, I mean, you wouldn't have gotten filled, but as it came back down, you would have. A stop below the breaker, I mean, we're looking at 35, 36 points there. That's a lot. And you're going to have to endure all this. And then we get up here, you're aiming for the high of the day. We piddle around here for 2 hours and then finally get the high of the day. Goodness gracious. There's no way I would have done it. But if you would have gotten long here and just tried for settlement, you would have been like, oh man. But that's actually creating relative equal highs. And that should have told me we were going to readdress those. And I should have been looking for a long here, but I wasn't. I was thinking we could fill this gap and then go back to it was my hypo. And so I ended up losing some on that trade. But overall, didn't do well in the XFA. I haven't been doing well in it at all. But in the combines, I'm doing okay. It's just I'm nervous about it being money that I could actually withdraw, and so I get just a tick or two in the red, and I'm like, oh, I got to get out of this trade. So I'm just not having the fortitude to hold it like I should. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. See what kind of reversal patterns we get for tomorrow. I'll zoom that one in so y'all can save it if you want to. So we triple tapped. Yesterday we hit it 4 times before we finally started going. Right here, we hit the breaker 4 times to the upside before we finally started going down. Here we hit 3 times and then finally started going up. So it's just going to take a little more patience, but they are working. All right, y'all have a wonderful day. See y'all tomorrow.